Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy MB, ready to do the daily breakdown of the S&P 500 on the futures market. So today is Friday, April 5th, 2024, and lately these allergies have been kicking my ass, so if I sound nasally or congested, that's why. But besides that, today was a great day for trading. There were plenty of opportunities to go long and short, so let me show you where those best opportunities were. Starting with some context, I have a 1 hour chart pulled up, and you can see, obviously, yesterday, end of day, we had that nasty dump. And so going into today, I feel like there are one or two scenarios that could have played out. First scenario being we continued to dump, which I felt was unlikely. We did hit this demand, so then we ended up getting a bounce off of overnight. So the second scenario was to go back up to retest the supply zone to see if there's still sellers up there. So there was important news at 7:30, an hour before the market opened, which is probably going to dictate which of the two scenarios would play out. So now let me show you the best opportunities of the day. So starting at 7:30, we have the news. The market actually dumps initially, but then makes a strong move to close near the high where the open was. And so that was the first sign that, okay, well, maybe it's not as bearish as we think, because market was weak. It was probably going to dump if it was actually, the news was actually bad. And so we ended up actually making a new high above pre-market right around here at 740. But then from there into the open, we ended up selling off. So before market open, we ended up fighting our bottom and then going back to retest these highs where we broke out of and then formed a new high here. And so that's when I noticed that there was this trend line here. So I plotted out this line from here to here and I extended it outwards. And then the first time we actually tested that trend line was the play number 1. So we ended up getting a bounce off the trend line, off of VWAP. And then if you put a fib chart from the bottom right here to this high, we dropped a little bit below 50%, but we ended up closing above the 50% mark. And so this was the first entry of the day. So with it being a bull flag, it's a measured move. So you get the low, the high, extend it over to your entry. That becomes your target. So with 40 being your target, if you entered around 15, it was about a 25-point move to the upside. Now I missed this play because as this candle was developing, there was actually news of an earthquake somewhere on the northeast side, like Manhattan/New Jersey area. And I heard rumors that it was being felt, as far as Pennsylvania. So I was actually pretty scared because I didn't know how, bad that earthquake was. So I didn't enter here because I was afraid of us dumping. So I missed play number 1. And I actually missed play number 2 because I wanted us to pull back a little bit further. But if you can tell, we actually bounced right here off of this previous resistance zone. It started to act as support. And again, this was also another 50% retracement. So from this low to this high, if I scroll it over, you can tell this was a perfect 50% pullback. So you could have entered here at 31. And same thing, it's a measured move. So you get the low to the high. You extend this over to your entry. And then your target's up here at 63. So from 63 to 31, it was a 30-point move to the upside. So thankfully, I didn't miss this whole move. I ended up getting in up here for the breakout. So I caught a bit of this uptrend. And then after that, we started to consolidate sideways. And it looked like the market was about to roll over. So I ended up taking a short somewhere in here. I ended up getting stopped out. But that's when I noticed that there was a particular pattern that was playing out. So I had a 1-minute chart pulled up because I was trying out a different strategy. And I noticed that there was a particular pattern playing out that I've seen before. And it's called the Wyckoff distribution method. So basically what it is you have this giant uptrend. You consolidate sideways for a bit, and it forms a high somewhere over here. It dumps, catches a lot of people short, comes back up here, and then forms a new high. And then from there, you continue to sell off. So I got short somewhere in here, and when I got stopped out, I was like, I really feel like we're going to make a new high and then find some sellers. So when I got stopped out here, I waited for the breakout, and I actually got in at a pretty nice entry. I got in up here around 70. And then from there, we started to dump. And so it was only a matter of where my target is going to be. So from 70, I was targeting this demand zone right here where we found some buyers. But I knew it was going to go a lot lower than that. I was like, well, maybe we'll go to the swing low right over here. But even then, I was like, this is a distribution method. And so when that happens, it's like we usually really dump. And so I really should have held for as long as possible because we ended up going from 70 all the way down to 35 basically. So it was like a 35-point move to the downside. So I only caught 10 points, but it was pretty obvious to tell. I'm going to lay out, the distribution method versus what I was seeing on the 1-minute chart, and it literally looks identical. So that was play number 3, the short at the very top. And then from there, I actually called out the short at 63.5. You can't really tell on a 5-minute, but if I go to a 15-minute, on a 15-minute, there was the support zone right here that we couldn't get a close below. And so once we got that closed, it was just a simple break and retest. So break below the support level, retest the support level, and now acts as resistance. And then it's a short from there. So a quick 10, 15 points. 3, 4, and 5 were actually continuations of the Wyckoff pattern, but you could have just taken them at different entries. But they were all break and retests after that. So break of a support level, retest. We had a support level here that we broke below, and then we retested it here. And so you could have entered right there. And then that was another 10, 15 points. Play number 6 was a long off of this demand zone, but also off of the support level down here. you can see that on a 5-minute chart, we weren't getting any closes below this level. Although at 10:15 we did wick below it, we never got an actual close below it. So if I put a line right here for emphasis to see, you can see that we had the support level right there, and then we ended up bouncing off of it perfectly. And if I put a fib chart on there, I think it was a 50% retracement. It was pretty close. The 50% retracement would have been down here at 34. But like I said, it was off of this demand zone and then off of this support zone, which is the most important part. So we ended up getting a nice relief bounce. I think your target could have been this uptrend here, which is from earlier. I just extended it all the way. From 36 to 52, it was about a 15-point move you could have caught to see if we were going to retest and reject this trend line. Of course, we ended up breaking a little bit above it before failing and then retesting it again here and then failing the actual trend line there. But regardless, if you entered here at 36, you could have caught 10 to 15 points. So that was play number 6. And then after that, there were a few different plays you could have taken here, but they really weren't high quality. I actually stopped trading after this setup right here because I just didn't really see anything. It just wasn't too clear to me. It just kind of kept chopping around, hitting areas of interest and then breaking above it and then closing below it and then not having any fall through. There was something over here before the end of the day that I felt like was pretty interesting, but they were just scalps at the end of the day. But 6 very good opportunities. I feel like this day was finished. I didn't think you needed to trade any further. It was a very good end to the week. Lots of opportunities. So that's pretty much it. I know it was a long video, but I hope you caught any of these. And if you didn't, I hope you learned something from this video. That way you don't miss them in the future. So I'll see you tomorrow when I do the breakdown of the best setup of the week. I love you.